There are 51 cities and 935 towns in the UK. So where does a property investor invest in the UK? Well, that is what we're going to discuss in this video today. What cities you should be looking at and how do you establish which cities you should be looking at. So hello everyone, if you're new here, my name is Abbas Pradhan. I'm a property investor and I'm an owner of an estate agency called 10x Rising. On this channel, I share with you the inside of what we go through on a day-to-day basis that may help you on your property journey. So if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next videos. Right, you can't just go out and invest in any city you just see. There are a few things that you need to research and be confident with before you invest your hard-earned money into that city. So there are 5 things that we look at as our criteria and our research analysis that we have to conduct before we invest in that city. So I will discuss these 5 things with you, and then I will also discuss my favorite 5 cities that I love to invest in. So stay tuned. The first thing we look at when we're doing our research on that city is the population. How many people are living in that city? Do people even like to live in that city? And if they do, how many are there? Because if there are not enough people in that city, the population isn't high enough, then who is going to rent from you? Because you are buying a property for rental purposes while you wait for your property price to appreciate in value. Now, if there are not enough people living in that city, then who is going to pay you your rent, right? And you do not want to be investing in a place where there are not many people, because your property value may not even appreciate in value. Your property value will appreciate based on demand and supply. As we all know, the supply of real estate in the UK is quite low. There's a massive shortage of housing. Now, if in that city there is no demand, then your property value will not appreciate. So population is very important. You need to look at what the population is in that city. The second thing you want to look at is the employment rate. Based on the amount of people there are over there, how many people are actually employed? What's the percentage like? Are you convinced that you're going to have good people living in your property who will pay you your rent on time? Are you convinced about that? You need to be confident before you put in your hard-earned money, expecting for someone to move in and pay you your rent while you wait for your property to appreciate. So, what's the employment rate like? Are you satisfied with the percentage that you're looking at there? Compare it to the high-end cities like London and Birmingham. See what the percentage is here and compare it to there. The third thing you also want to look at is the universities. How many universities are there? And how many students are there? Because if there's a lot of universities, it's also going to attract international students. Student market is also very good. So how many universities are there? How many students are there? That also plays an impact onto what city you should be looking at. The fourth and the most crucial thing that you also need to be looking at is what ongoing regeneration schemes are there in that city. Are there people willing to or wanting to migrate into that city? Because that's what's going to shoot up the demand and drive up the rental value and the appreciation in that economy. So what ongoing regeneration schemes are there? Are the governments investing in that city, improving, whether that's the commuting links, universities, ongoing developments, bringing in more jobs so people come in there? The more people come into that city, the better it is. You do not want to be buying properties at the peak, like how London is now. You want to ideally buy it in a place where it's not so high yet, just before it goes onto the ladder of hitting the peak. And the fifth thing that we look at is, what is the city known for? What's its main source of income? Is it technology? Are there service-based industries over there? Or is it retail units that the economy is depending on to survive? So all these things we look at before we choose the cities that we want to invest in. So what are the 5 cities that we like to invest in? Well, the first place that we love to invest in is Birmingham. Birmingham has a population of 149 million people. That's 1,149,000 people in this city, out of which 80,000 are students. So there is a good amount of people in the city in comparison to how many people are there overall in the whole country. Birmingham is forecasting for price increases in property to be shooting up to by 24.5% by 2026. And the average rents have gone up by 30% over the last decade. And there's so much developments going on in Birmingham with HS2 coming in. How many towns are being converted into major high-rise buildings, complexes, attracting people to wanting to live there. Digbeth being what a wonderful area where now it's just picking up. All those industries there are now getting planning permission for apartment buildings. Literally just across our office building, there is a plot of land with industrial units in there. And the freeholder just got planning permission for 131 apartments. So you can imagine when they start to develop that, this whole street, the value is just going to start shooting up. And because this one plot has already got planning permission for 131 apartments, this already gives it a lot of chances for all the other plots now to also get planning permission. And this is just going to transform Digbeth into something more high in value and in demand for rental and consumers to live in. So Birmingham is a really good place for people to be investing in. The yields really depend on where you look at. If you're buying apartments in city centre, jewellery quarter, you're probably going to be looking at 4 to 5% net yields. But if you're well connected in the market and you have your connections to get off-market properties, you can easily touch the number of 9 to 11% net yield. That's cash on cash. So if you're getting a mortgage on that, that's going to get you at least 25%. The second city that we love to invest in and are actually investing in is Liverpool. Liverpool has £9.5 billion of regeneration schemes going on now as we speak. They're converting so many blocks of small houses or apartments into high-rise buildings. The whole of city centre has been transformed. Everton Football Club, there is a plan for that to be destroyed and converted into high-rise buildings, care homes, retail units and so much more. And that Everton Football Club is also going to be moved over somewhere else. So there is a lot of regeneration schemes going on in Liverpool. The property prices now are way less than how much it would cost you to actually build that property. So you'll get properties much cheaper there now than how much it would cost you to actually build it. So that's a fantastic thing to be at. And the rental yields, they're just phenomenal. You'll get 10% net yield easily without even necessarily having to look very hard. And if you do look very hard, you'll even get up to 14-15%. We've literally just acquired a block of 4 apartments in Liverpool at £185,000. If you go and build those block of 4 flats, which have, by the way, been fully refurbished into a very good spec, if you go and build it from ground up, that's going to cost at least £350,000. Considering the supply cost now is so expensive, it's going to cost at least £1,500 per square meter to build it up. And we're acquiring at £185,000. So Liverpool is a fantastic place to be investing in. Population is about 500,000 people. There are 4 universities there and at least 70,000 students. It is a place that's going to be booming in the coming decades. So now is definitely a very good place to be investing in Liverpool. We are personally looking at Liverpool quite heavily now because we know the property prices that we're going to achieve now are not going to be available for a very long time. So you should definitely have your eyes in Liverpool. The third place you should be looking at is Leeds. Leeds has a population of 792,000 people. Leeds is the second largest banking and financing sector in the UK. The second largest. More than 70% of the households in Leeds, they are renting. The demand is overwhelmingly more than the supply in Leeds. The property prices projected in Leeds is forecasted to be in the region of 28% just in the next 5 years. Leeds is a place where property prices are also very low, on their way to going up. Lot of regeneration schemes and definitely a place that you should also be looking at. The third place you should be considering is Sheffield. Sheffield has a population of 584,000 people. It has 2 universities and a student population of 63,000 people. It has a lot of ongoing regeneration schemes as well, and the property price is forecasted to hit 28% increase in just the next 4 years. Sheffield is transforming quite quickly, and of course the property prices that you can secure now are not going to be available for a very long time. And the last city that I have for you today is Manchester. Manchester has a population of 553,000 people with over 100,000 students in that city. It has a very high retention rate. A lot of people that graduate from Manchester prefer to live in Manchester. They want to work in Manchester. And that really helps the economy. Property values have increased by at least 25% just in the last 5 years. It has a lot of ongoing regeneration schemes, and property prices are already shooting up more than even Liverpool. So you should definitely be looking at Manchester as well. There may be other cities as well with a lot of regeneration schemes, high employment rate, good population, and all of that. But you also want to do your due diligence in that specific street, area, what kind of people live in there. If you haven't yet watched my other videos, be sure to watch that because I speak a lot about due diligence. Recently, we were offered a property in Wrexham. Now, based on the numbers, it had 11 offices and it was producing a very good cash flow of at least 15% cash on cash, which you don't normally get so easily. And with office buildings, you can even get permitted development rights, so you can just convert them to apartments. So we just fell in love with the numbers. Although Wrexham does not have a very high population, like come on, who gives you 15% cash on cash? You don't get that. So even if the population wasn't so good, we know if we're getting 15% cash on cash on a mortgage, that's going to be so high, maybe 30% if you do it on your calculator. So within 2.5 to 3 years, we've got all our capital pulled back out. So it's not a very high risk. So you need to factor in all these other considerations before you let go a good property. So we were very interested in this. We went to view the property and we were so in love with the property itself, the condition, and all the good tenants in there. There was a airline company as well called TUI in there. So it's all good. But when it came to doing the research of the neighborhood, it was very close to city center. However, it turned out commercial businesses weren't doing so well. While walking around in the city center, we discovered so many empty retail units with their shutters just closed. And you've got boards everywhere, to let, to let, to let. So when we went to speak to the local letting agent there, asking them, how's the retail businesses going on here? How's the offices demand? Turns out the letting agent just gave us his honest opinion, and they always do. Just walk into their shop and just ask them what do they think of the market. The agent told us that his lease for his unit was just coming to an end and the landlord wanted to increase the rent. The agent said, hey, if you're going to increase the rent, I'm going to go away. The unit right across the street is also empty. I'm just going to go there. So the rents are not going up, the units are empty, and it worried me that the leases in that office space were also coming to an end. So what would happen if they left and I can't find the new tenants? Then that 15% is of no use because we won't get 15%. We'll probably be on 7 to 10%. So a lot of things have to come into consideration. If I had gone to that city, seen those numbers, seen the fact that all the retail units were filled up, a lot of footfall there, and it's a thriving city, definitely we would have invested in there, regardless of the population not being in 500,000 or 400,000 people. So a lot of things go into consideration. However, majority of the times, if the population is high, the retail units will not be empty because there will be footfall. And if there is footfall, businesses will succeed. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. Are there any other cities you like to invest in? Please let me know. I'm very curious to know what other cities there are out there where maybe people might be succeeding with a lot. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.